visiting the Canadian County Master Gardeners Community Garden, and joining me to talk about it is Bob Wilson, one of the Master Gardeners here. Well, Bob, this is a magnificent garden. Can you tell us a little bit of how the garden was started?
Well, it started about 3 years ago. It's basically kind of under the auspices of the Kiwanis here. They provide a facility for us. They helped us get insurance to cover anybody that would be injured while they're out working in the garden. And likewise, the food that we produce, a third of it we give to the Kiwanis, and they give it away to folks that could utilize the food.
Excellent. Now, in our show, a lot of times we've visited about different resources here in Oklahoma for growing food. Of course, you're part of the Extension Service as a Master Gardener, but I know you tied into some other resources as well.
We tied into the Oklahoma City Regional Food Bank. They have helped us in the past. They've gave us some plants in the past. We've tied into some of the other local folks. Sunrise Acres has helped us in the past with some plants. This year, and for the most part even last year, we developed all of our own seeds, raised all of our own seeds, and some of those were done by the Canadian County
With the Extension Office?
Extension
they have
Office,
a little
yes.
greenhouse where you can
Yes,
raise
that's
your
exactly right.
And I assume part of the reason for that is it gives you a little more freedom to choose what types of varieties you want?
It does. It gives us the ability to get the exact plants that we want. We've kind of tried to determine what we think are probably the best plants to sell, what sells well and what varieties sell well and what varieties grow well.
Yeah.
And that way we get exactly what we want.
Excellent. I couldn't help, of course, but notice the plastic here, and we recently visited with Micah Anderson
Yes.
with Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food and Forestry, and learned about the plastic culture. It's great to see a participant.
It works well. Matter of fact, Micah put this in for us the first year. This is the second year that we've used the plastic culture. It probably helps as much as anything in the conservation of water. We have to buy our water for our garden, and it certainly helps hold down on that. As you can tell, it certainly keeps the weeds out away from the plants.
Yeah.
As you can tell from looking at our garden, rather than rototill, we try to do grass in between them. So all in all, the plastic cultures work pretty good for most things, but not everything.
Right. It's part of the learning process as
Yes.
you go along. Now, you mentioned a third of your produce you will donate to the food pantry at the Kiwanis.
That's correct.
And what do you do with the rest of the produce?
Well, originally the idea was for a third to go to the folks that work at the garden. There's about 8 to 10 to maybe 12 that work here routinely. We just can't eat all that much food.
Right.
So we end up actually selling more of it. We have a farmer's market every Saturday morning from 8 to 11. And we're able to sell the vast majority of what's left over, and what we don't, we give away in the community.
Okay. And that's part of the space here. You set up the farmer's market right here.
That's exactly
and
right.
Different growers come in
That's
from
exactly
the area.
right. We have somewhere between 3 to 6 vendors that show up every weekend, and we've had a good variety. We had folks with watermelons and cantaloupes last year that came. We had a lady that was here with chickens one time, selling chickens and
Very
eggs.
fun.
So it's kind of a fun place for everybody to get together that's involved in farming or in doing a vegetable garden to sell their produce.
Absolutely. Now, I'm sure another component of this is you're going to learn a lot. You mentioned with the plastic, not everything works in plastic.
There's just a big learning curve to gardening. I started out taking the Master Gardeners program. That was a big help for me, needless to say. You learn a lot there, but you also learn a lot just working with other people, because they've all got different experiences and different ideas, and we kind of learn as we go along in this garden. There's some things that have worked and some things that haven't, and every year it changes a little bit.
I see you have some different experiments. You want to show us a little bit of some of the different ideas you've been testing out?
Okay.
Well, Bob, I can see you've been working with your tomatoes, and there's one giant plant in the middle. Tell me about this one.
Well, this was an experiment that we tried. One of the guys in the club, Bobby Woodruff, mentioned that he had been using saran wrap to go around some of his tomato cages in the past to kind of make a little mini greenhouse. So he said it worked really well, and we thought we wanted to try it here. So we did that on one of these, and as you can tell, the cage with the saran wrap around it had a larger tomato than the ones on the other side. They were all the same tomato planted at the same time.
So this was early in the season. You wrapped that cage up to
That's
while,
correct.
while the little plant was inside.
That's correct, yeah. And on these, we tried the water walls, and it certainly works on them, but the saran wrap seemed to work really well.
That's really impressive, and what a fun little experiment.
Just something different to try.
Now over here you have some peppers. I'm sure that's a great seller for
Yes.
you. Everybody wants some peppers.
Everybody likes peppers in the summertime.
But what I noticed, you're growing them on white. Tell me about this.
It's another thing we're just going to try. Last year, we had all black up on all of the plastic culture, and this year we thought we would try a few rows with the white side up and see if it grew any better. And I can't tell you that it is going a whole lot better this year, but
Time will tell, huh?
we'll see. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure this is a great experience to give back a little bit to the community and certainly learn a bit from your fellow gardeners.
It has been fun. We learn a lot every day that we do this.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
sharing.
Kim.